Carmageddon Rogue Shift is a game that came out of nowhere. The series has been dormant since 2016 after Reincarnation and its updated Max Damage release were financial failures. This led the IP being sold to THQ Nordic in 2018, and it now has ended up in the hands of the Redout developers 34 Big Things. So for Carmageddon to return 10 years later with a spin-off game is certainly a bold move, but did it pay off? Well, mostly. This video will cover the game's positive aspects along with a few negative ones that put a blemish on an otherwise amazing vehicular combat arcade racer. Before I start, I want to thank 34 Big Things for providing me with a review key. Anyways, let's begin. I'm addressing this first because Rogue Shift has been controversial for fans of the series. This is because it's a spin-off that deviates almost entirely away from the Carmageddon formula. The Bloodsport styled atmosphere with humans is now a post-apocalyptic setting with zombies, the gameplay structure is completely different, the power-ups were replaced with equipable weapons, there are no characters, and the vehicles aren't the more fictional, cartoony designs of previous games. Being that Reincarnation and Max Damage weren't received the best by players, I understand why the developers went in a much different direction. While I'm fine with a lot of the changes, I feel that having zombies instead of humans is a total cop-out. That's a pretty defining aspect of the series that should have been kept while still being a spin-off. So, for those who want that Carmageddon style and experience, this isn't it. However, I think that fans of car combat in general will have a lot of fun with Rogue Shift, even with the problems I will cover. The presentation certainly stands out. The UI is rather simple, but it's easy to understand and navigate. Visually, they nailed the post-apocalyptic setting, with dilapidated environments, moody lighting, darker color grading, and a filter that gives it a slight comic book look. The environments have a ton of detail, along with high-quality models for vehicles and weapons. Then you have the small details like the electricity from side bashes, lens flares, dirty screen effects, lines coming off the car, the fire effect when respawning, and more. The only glaring aspect is that pop-in is quite noticeable even at the highest settings. Overall, it's a nice presentation with a decent UI and striking visuals. The big element that sets Rogue Shift apart is its roguelite campaign. Other than Road Redemption, we really haven't seen this system in the racing game genre. How it works here is you start off by choosing a vehicle for the run, which comes with a set weapon and perk. Then, you go through a randomized set of races and boss fights that all get harder the further you progress. It's not a completely linear path, as there are branching sections for you to choose where to go next. Each event gives you credits and beat coins. The credits are used for repairing your car, swapping out weapons, and purchasing perks. The beat coins are for when your run is over, which happens if you lose an event, die, or beat the final boss. While everything obtained during the run is lost, you can buy permanent upgrades, vehicles, weapon unlocks, and perk unlocks the next time you do a run. Unlocking achievements also rewards you with vehicles, weapons, and perks. Any weapons and perks obtained from the black market and achievements have a chance of showing up in subsequent runs. Also during runs, there are scavenger hunts where you open crates to get rewards, but there's a chance to lose it all if you open one with zombies in it. The whole process repeats as you continue getting stronger and stronger for the final boss fight. If you haven't played a roguelite before, this will take a bit to get used to. Once you do, it's a very addicting system that leaves you wanting to do just another run. If you are finding things too difficult though, there is an easy mode in the settings. One addition that I would like to see is a single event option. It sucks not having this in some traditional racing games, but at least you can freely pick from any event after unlocking all of them. Since Rogue Shift has a runs-based system with randomized events each time, you just can't do that here. Having the ability to play custom events without needing to do a run would be nice for players who are used to traditional racing games. Regardless, the campaign is a great change of pace with a rewarding and addictive roguelite design. The vehicle selection is rather small, but overall pretty good. There are 15 of them that range from hatchbacks, coupes, trucks, buggies, and a van. They did a really good job taking essentially D-badge models and turning them into these crazy post-apocalyptic style designs. Vehicles also feel relatively different from each other, with varying drivetrains, handling, acceleration, top speed, offense, and durability. You can definitely find a few vehicles that perfectly fit what you're looking for. In terms of sense of speed, vehicles in general are slower than I would like. However, you can get perks during the run to improve things like torque, acceleration, top speed, and boosting. So while cars could be faster, I like their designs and that they feel different enough from each other. The tracks are really great. From what I gather, there seems to be around 22 courses in total. The environments range from forests, docks, highways, underground tunnels, industrial areas, cities, and more. Like mentioned previously, the detail on all of these tracks is quite amazing. There's a lot of scenery, along with zombies, hazards, and props that fill the actual racing surface. The time of day, weather, and the amount of zombies can also change as well. For their actual design, there are basic ones that are short, rather flat, have wide roads, and lack sharp turns. Then, there are more complex courses that are longer, have more verticality, thinner roads, sharp turns, and multiple routes. It's a great range of easy to hard tracks that will test you. The game isn't afraid to throw you into pitch dark areas with only your headlights and painted arrows for guides. Overall, the environments look incredible, along with a great scale of straightforward to challenging track designs. The gameplay is insanely fun. The game modes consist of death races, elite death races, survivals, and boss fights. Death Race is a standard racing mode where you need to get 3rd place or higher, and the elite version requires you to get 1st place. Also, the number of opponents increases starting at 5 to 8 and then 11 when advancing further in the run. Survival is a race that has to be completed in a certain time limit. While there are no other racers, there are a lot more zombies and enforcers trying to stop you. Boss fights usually have you take down the boss before the time is up, but sometimes you may need to beat them in a race. For the enemies, there are the racers on track, along with enforcers and zombies. Enforcers are essentially the fodder that are trying to impede you and other racers. When killing both racers and enforcers, they drop ammo and health. The zombies range from basic humanoid ones to larger ones that will damage you from things like explosions and poison. In terms of the combat, there is both physical and weaponized. Physical combat consists of ramming opponents, spinning them out, and using side bashes. Side bashes move you laterally with a lot of force, which can be used to smash into people. They can also be used just for movement to avoid obstacles and dodge attacks. For the weapons, there are machine guns, shotguns, rockets, lasers, railguns, and more. They can have different variants, like not having a lock-on system, higher damage, or firing more shots. You get ammo by collecting the ammo pickups, and many weapons have a short cooldown after the designated shots are fired. Unlike with other car combat games, the health system works differently for the player compared to AI racers. The AI has lower health than the player and will respawn after being killed. The player has more health, but they won't respawn if they die. There are repair pickups placed around the track, but they won't come back after being collected. Boost is also another aspect to consider. It's a burst system where you need to fill up a bottle before being able to use it. You can get boosts from attacking opponents, killing enemies, drifting, airtime, going fast, wall riding, and evading attacks. As mentioned previously, during the run you can purchase weapons and perks. Perks have a wide range of enhancements, with some even having a downside to them. Also, each boss battle will give you an additional perk slot and boost bottle. So, there's a lot of freedom here as you can choose what to focus on per run. Do you want to go for a more defensive or offensive build? Do you want to make your car stronger or faster? It's up to you on how things play out. All of these elements make for very chaotic and fun gameplay. There is so much depth in and outside of the events that will keep you occupied. The soundtrack is one aspect that could be better. It's an original score that was created for the game and will change dynamically depending on what is happening in the event. I usually love soundtracks like this, but the problem is that it's all similar sounding heavy metal. I get this was done to match the game's tone, but it ends up becoming background noise a lot of the time. Here's some examples of the music. Unfortunately, the physics are disappointing. The handling in general is primarily grip-based and is just a tad understeery. While you can pull off drifts, they aren't the most viable as cars will bog down from them. However, the turning feels too heavy and lethargic even when adjusting the sensitivity. Wheels take too long to fully turn and recenter, which leads to moments where you can't properly correct your trajectory. So, you end up oversteering and completely losing control. Vehicles like the Hawk GT are almost undrivable because of this. Next, the collisions aren't the best. When you kill someone with a hit, it feels extremely impactful, yet the same can't be said with normal collisions, as vehicles are too heavy and slow you down too much. Also, vehicles can get stuck to each other when grinding up against one another. These two particular issues are very apparent when someone is sideways in front of you. They can get stuck to your car, and then you don't have enough pushing power to get out of it. Also, I've had very strange collisions with the environment itself. One redeeming aspect is that the crashes are really cool. Many times cars will spin out, flip over, and roll pretty violently. This includes when someone dies, with their car body flying off in spectacular fashion. However, the damage model is extremely lacking. Cars don't get a ton of visual deformation, especially when compared to max damage. It's a shame because a developer stated they initially had more complex deformation, but it wasn't polished enough and it affected the game performance too much. While I can forgive the basic damage model, I can't look past the other problems. I failed enough runs due to weird handling and collision moments that led to a lot of frustration. In the end, Carmageddon Rogue Shift is so close to being an amazing game. It has a nice presentation, an addictive campaign, great vehicles, awesome tracks, and very fun gameplay. However, it doesn't retain enough from the Carmageddon series even with being a spin-off. The soundtrack isn't the best, and the physics hamper the experience. It's still an overall fun game that I recommend getting on sale, as $40 USD is just a bit too high for what is here. This has been Gamer Alex. I hope you enjoyed the video and have a great day.